All right, guys, sorry that I could not be there today, but I didn't want you to miss out on any instructions, so I am going to create this video for you to help you to understand 30, 60, 90 special right triangles. We are going to do these two examples right here together, and if you did what you needed to do yesterday, today should not be too bad. So, first thing I want you to do is flip over the paper, or even have someone go up to the front and draw this on the board. You are still going to be setting up proportions when you are solving for any of these figures. So what you have to know though is, like, you have these triangles given to you, like this one right here, but if you have to set up a proportion, sides from this triangle have to match up to sides from another triangle. So this is the triangle that you are going to be comparing to all day today. Tomorrow there will be another one. So in a 30, 60, 90, what that means is that you do have a 90-degree angle. That means you also have a 30-degree angle and a 60-degree angle. And every triangle that you are going to deal with today is going to be a 30, 60, 90. Today, when you go to match up your sides, you are going to be looking, for instance, like at the 30-degree angle, you're going to go across from it. And this side is, I'm going to call from here on out, this is the side across from the 30. And then this side down here, in this triangle right here, it's not always on the bottom, but this side right here is the side across from the 60. And then this is the hypotenuse, which is the side across from the 90. So in this 30, 60, 90, the side across from the 30, we are going to label with the number 1. And then the side across from the 60, this side right here, we are going to label with a square root of 3. And then the hypotenuse, we are going to put a 2. So a 1, a 2, and a square root of 3 are going to be the numbers that you are going to use when you are setting up your proportions today. So just like last week and your last quiz, every single problem day should have proportions. And actually, since you're solving for 2 variables here, you're going to have 2 proportions. So looking at the first problem on your worksheet for today, this is a 30, 60, 90. Yes, you have a 30-degree angle labeled and a 90, but this is going to be a 60-degree angle right here. So I like to do things in alphabetical order. So we are going to solve for G first. G, so to solve for G, we're setting up a proportion, G over, now on this triangle, G is the side that is across from the 60. So G is across from the 60. So if I go back to this triangle, the side across from the 60 is a square root of 3. So I'm going to go back here and do G over, and then I'm going to do square root of 3 equals. Now G was from this triangle, so I have to pick a side from this triangle again, which I'm going to use the 10, which is the side across from the 30. So I'm going to do 10 over, and again, 10 is the side across from the 30. So up here, the side across from the 30 is a 1. So I'm going to go back. This would be a lot easier if it were on the board, but it's fine. So 10 over 1. Now you are going to cross multiply just like you would have done yesterday. So this is why we did what we did yesterday with the proportions and the square roots. So when you cross multiply, you're going to go G times 1, which is G, equals, and then we're going to cross multiply here, 10 times the square root of 3. You cannot actually multiply the 10 and the 3 together, so you just smush them together as 10 square root 3. And that would be your answer for G. Now we're going to do the same thing for H. So H is your hypotenuse. So I'm going to go H over, and then I scroll back up. The hypotenuse on this triangle is a 2. So I'm going to go down here and say H over 2 equals, and then I look at my triangle, and you have a couple of options here. You could use your G, which is 10 square root of 3, or You could use your 10 over 1 again. So I would probably pick the side that has a number on it already. So I would do 10 over 1. Biggest thing, just like last week, is to make sure you are staying consistent with how you're setting up your proportions. So then when you cross multiply, h times 1 is h equals 2 times 10 is 20. And you're done. So you solve for both of them. Not gonna lie, this is probably the problem right here is best case scenario because there's no dividing, there's no rationalizing. So this problem right here would be best case scenario. Let me show you worst case scenario, and that's this one right below it. So this guy right here is also a 30, 60, 90. So you have your 90-degree angle, you have your 60-degree angle, which means that this is your 30-degree angle. And just like always, I like to do things in alphabetical order, so I am going to solve for x first. So x over, so now I need to figure out what side matches up with x. X is the side that is across from the 30. So I go up here, a side across from the 30. So here's my 30, I go across, and that is a 1. So I'm going to go x over 1 equals, and I have to use the 33 over 33 is the side across from the 60, and the side across from the 60 is a square root of 3. So I'm going to go 33 over the square root of 3. And then cross multiply. X times the square root of 3 is just x times the square root of 3 equals 1 times 33 is 33. Then I'm going to divide by the square root of 3. We cancel there. And now I have x equals 33 over the square root of 3, which yesterday we learned that that is breaking the rules and you cannot leave it like that. So you are going to have to rationalize the denominator. So quick little refresh on that. Whatever is breaking the rules, which is the square root of 3, you have to multiply the top and the bottom by the square root of 3 to rationalize it. So when I multiply my tops together, and I do 33 times the square root of 3 over, and then I multiply my bottoms, and I get the square root of 9. And we continue to simplify. The square root of 9 can go away, and that becomes a 3, and you leave the 33 square root of 3 alone. And then this is where you do need to check. This right here can be simplified. 33 divided by 3 is 11. So x is going to be 11 square root of 3. This is why I say that it's worst case scenario. Yes, it's a lot of work. We did a few of these yesterday, and anytime you are given a side across from the 60, you are probably going to have this about this much work. Now that you have x though, so x is now technically 11 square root of 3. Once you have one of those sides, I honestly would probably never use the side across from the 60 again when I am solving. I would use the 11 square root of 3 from here on out. So like when I have to solve for y here in a second, I would use this instead of this one right here. And you're going to see why here in a second. If you decide to use the 33 again, you are going to have to rationalize the denominator again. So all of this work again. If you don't, I'm going to show you what happens if you use the 11 square root of 3. So to solve for y is across from y is the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is 2. So y is going to correspond to 2. So I do y over 2 equals, and then I am going to use the 11 square root of 3, which is across from the 30. So I do 11 square root of 3 over, and side across from the 30 is a 1. So then I do 11 square root of 3 over 1. Now when I cross multiply, look how nice this is. 1 times y is just y equals nothing in front, so I don't have to divide. And then when I multiply across here, I actually can do 2 times the 11, which is 22, and then you just put the square root of 3 on the end. So you go back, watch this video as much as possible. That's why I made it. Job for today is to do the last 6 problems on here. Try them out. If you have questions during class, please email me and I can try to do another one of these little screen recordings from you. There is an answer key for you to check your work if you want.